Yeah. Saturday Night Fever. Just got back from taking my boys to go see Transformers 1. I grew up watching the Transformers since I was a kid, and now having seen decades of reiterations of Transformers, the movies, the cartoons, cartoon movies, live action. I enjoyed it. Me and my sons, we really enjoyed it. I think that they got, if you're a Transformers fan, then they got the story right in terms of like how to put together the origin of how all this happened. When we grew up, it was just Cybertron. And then, we just weren't, we got a bunch of different stuff. All right. But let's talk about this. I'm a little bit behind the eight ball on this one, but I've been thinking about this for like the last 2 days, but other things have kind of crept in and taken my perspective. But let's talk about this, all right? First things first, welcome to CNN. I'm Kirk Kennedy. Let's go in. On this channel, we take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. Now, today will not be an exposing the darkness series. We just want to talk about this because tomorrow is game one of WNBA playoffs, and Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark and the gang play Connecticut Sun at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This was a matchup that I wanted to see only because, well, there's probably a couple reasons to be honest, but I think that Dejanay Carrington has been offended at Caitlin Clark all season. She's Nalissa Smith's significant other, who is a teammate of Caitlin Clark. And Nalissa Smith has tweeted, I'm going to tell you something. Twitter has been like the Dear Diary for the WNBA. I wonder sometimes, because we're human beings, right? We compartmentalize our lives, right? If you're a Christian, we compartmentalize God's character. We think of him as loving, but not holy. So then when his holiness shows up, we're like, oh my gosh, how could a good God, loving God do this? It's like, well, because he's also a holy God that hates sin. So like we compartmentalize our lives, right? We think of ourselves like, okay, this is sort of my work life, and this is my Christian life, my religion, this is my private time, and this is my family. We compartmentalize our lives, right? And that's what happens. And so I think I think Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, I think it is the gift that keeps on giving in this sense. I think it is the most, I think it's the most compartmentalized social media app out there. I think people, by compartmentalized, what I mean is I think we feel like whatever we like or repost or whatever we write or whatever we put out there in social media, we almost act like that's different than who we are. Like whatever I put out there, whatever videos I make are 100% myself. When I stand up for the Lord and give an account, I'm going to give an account for everything I said on these videos, right? Every tweet, all of that stuff, right? But for some reason, it just seems like a disconnect for someone in the WNBA. So Nalissa Smith, player of Indiana Fever, keep in mind that all these girls were dogs in college. They were like priced, top players on their team. So I get when they come to the WNBA, they're not that great. I did not see Nalissa Smith play college ball. I didn't even know she existed until this season. And I don't know how good she was. She had to be tough to be in the WNBA. But she's not like one of the elite players. She misses a lot of layups. When she shoots threes, it's kind of like, oh, pobrecito. Because you just know, like, no, that's not your shot. Even when they make them, you know how every once in a while, you be like, no, good shot when they make it. But the reality is, it's not her shot, right? I don't think she's a strong player. She's been up and down. But she goes on X, and her or her brother or people, they complain. So Dejanay Carrington, her significant other, tweeted something the other day, and she tweeted back, like, oh, I forgot what it was. It was something about playing or something, and she tweeted back something along the effects of, it was fun while it lasted. Like, basically what they call airing out your dirty laundry, right? Like, I don't know, does she not think that, like, Indiana Fever, management, coaching staff, players, does she not think that they look at Twitter, that they can see her account and make comments about it? But anyway, I just think Twitter has proven ever since. I think it's always been this way, but for some reason, I thought it would be different when Elon Musk took over it. I really did. I don't know what I thought because he's pretty creative guy. I thought Twitter would be something else, but it's still the same old, same old. He just charges you for more features now because it needs money, but it's still pretty much the same old, same old. I don't know the era of free speech. I don't even know. I hardly use Twitter anymore because I like this, but I like YouTube. So as I'm watching the Indiana Fever and Alyssa Smith, I think that's going to be a great matchup because, she's not torn in her love for Dejanay Carrington. So whatever happens, if she gets a hard foul ball on her teammates, you might see Alyssa Smith defending her girlfriend, right? So all that stuff is just a crazy dynamic. But then Dejanay Carrington has been very vocal about her dislike of Caitlin Clark for a number of reasons, and Indiana fans. The last time that they played in Indiana and they lost, she was the one who said Indiana fans are the most disgusting, something like that, ill. And it's like, wow, I don't know, because I guess maybe I'm an idiot, but when I watch the games, they always pan and show these cute little girls with their moms or dads who are there. I'm sure there's a lot of fans in there, but it just seems like a family environment, go figure. So she says all of that. So this matchup is going to be a clash in a way that I like this kind of matchup. I played basketball. I played a little football, but I was more basketball. I know I look like Baby Huey. I'd be on the front line, but I was basketball as point guard back in the day. This was a while ago. Things happen. Most people don't look the way they look when they were in high school, the way they look when they're years after. But anyway, after watching the Indiana Fever play against the Washington Mystics a couple nights ago, Thursday night, so it's 2 nights ago, and they lost the game, and I was watching it, and it really dawned on me. All season, I and many other people have tried to figure out what's the deal with, and I've defended. I love Caitlin Clark. I think she's a phenomenal player. There's other players in the league that I think are just like, wow, these are just good basketball players, right? I've come up with many different ways to process and think about Caitlin Clark. But when I watched the game it wasn't a game that they didn't win, but I watched it on Thursday night. They played the Mystics. It wasn't a game they had to win. It did not change their Indiana Fever. It did not change their standing where they were playing the playoffs. But when I watched the game, I realized something that I hadn't really thought about before. And for some reason, I think I was hearing like Asia Wilson's The GOAT, and just the idea of GOAT and animals were kind of in my mind. And I just had this thought. When I watched the Indiana Fever play, Caitlin Clark did not have a good game. 8 points, I think 8 assists, 5 rebounds, something like that. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the Caitlin Clark that we're used to playing. Keep in mind that one of the players on the Washington Mystics went public and said she's not that good and gave the impression like she was going to shut her down. And for all intents and purposes, she did, according to Caitlin Clark numbers. So as I'm watching this game, they put the second string in, and the second string basically brought it back. And they almost won the game. Last second shot by, I forgot her name. Forgot her name. Last second shot by her, air balls, I think, or barely makes the rim. The Indiana Fever lose the game by 1. But it was exciting to watch the second string. Great move by Christy Sides, probably her best move all season, to let those players get some rep time, because you might need to lean on them in the playoffs, right? Playoffs are just a little bit more intense each round you get through. But here was a thought I had when I watched them, and I realized here's why the Indiana Fever will not win. Now again, I'm not the Lord, so I could be wrong. He could decide to bless them, and they work their way up. But here's why unless the Lord is like, I'm going to bless them and let them win, right? Unless the Lord does that, let me tell you why they're not going to win it. Because I realized who the Indiana Fever are. Now keep in mind, I love them. I've been highlighting them, talking about them positive. So don't get offended at what I'm about to say, or at least stick around so you can see what I mean. Because it might come off the wrong way. But here's who the Indiana Fever are. I realized why it's what the Indiana Fever, keep in mind I was thinking about animals. You know who the Indiana Fever are? The Indiana Fever are puppies. They're puppies. That's who they are. And it just hit me on Thursday night watching the game. The Indiana Fever are puppies. Now let's talk about what puppies are, who puppies are, right? Puppies are these small, young, very energetic, excitable, playful, lot of energy, just do a bunch of stuff, run around. They're funny, they're cute, They do all these things. They're always excited. You know, they're always ready to play. And I realized, wow, this is what makes the Indiana Fever so exciting. Not just Caitlin Clark, but the team. They're like puppies. You know, if you ever see like an older dog, maybe 10 years old, and a puppy, the older dog is just chilling, man. I've been around, man. I'm tired. I ain't doing nothing, man. Listen. The younger dog is all playing and growling and then wanting to wrestle and just playing around. You know, it's just this idea, right? When you watch the Indiana Fever play, I think what makes them exciting, not just their play, but they're like puppies. They're very excitable, right? They're a young team. They're young. They're exciting. They're energetic. They're fast-paced. I mean, just like puppies. Puppies are just like all over the place. You know, they grab the pillow and be like, no, stop. You know, they're just all over the place. And it's just the Indiana Fever. When you watch them play, it's like, whoa, they're up 20-2. They were up like 20-2 against the Mystics. I was like, oh, they are smacking these people. But as I've said in a previous video, they don't yet know how to put their foot on the neck. Like the Indiana Fever don't know how to smell blood. And this is, but they know that they're afraid of that possibility. This is why Caitlin Clark got all of the attention coming into the season, because she could smell blood. When she was with Iowa, she could smell blood. She could smell blood. Caitlin, you know, sharks, they say sharks can smell blood like maybe a mile or two away. So if you get cut and you're in the ocean, man, you better get out of there. Caitlin Clark can smell blood. That's what made her exciting. She could tell, like, no, we got them. Give me the ball. We can beat them. Give me the ball. Caitlin Clark for three. Boom. Wow. Boom. Coming down. Boom. 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 The rest of the team just had to coexist. She can smell blood, but the team as a team, they don't. They were down 20-2, and the next thing I know, in the blink of an eye, they were down 2. I was like, what? How are they down? And this is one of the reasons why they won't win. But this isn't my main point. But one of the reasons why they won't win is because they're too young. They're too excitable. They don't know how to settle down like an older dog who's been around for a while, that knows how to when to relax. A puppy's just always hype. As soon as you come in the house, they're all over you. They want this, they want to play, they want to do all that, they want to eat, they want to go outside, they got to pee, they're just all over the place. And they don't know how you got to settle down. All right, calm down. Calm down. They want to play. They walk up to you and give you the tennis ball. As an Indiana Fever, they're puppies. They don't know how. So when you're up, they don't know how to be like, all right, let's settle down and let's lock in on defense. Let's change tactics so we keep this lead, right? They just keep going. And they get so distracted by the pace, they forget that, hey, the other team is actually trying to beat you. They're trying to win. They're trying to beat you. So the Indiana Fever, they're puppies. They're young. They're exciting. They're energetic. They're excitable. You know, but they don't have enough dog in them, old dog, to know when to settle down, whatever. The Indiana Fever are the puppies that you can have fun with for hours, wrestle with, play with. You love them because they're so cute. But then they go poop. No. Bad dog. They go poop or pee right there on the rug when they're supposed to. The Indiana Fever are not potty trained yet. They're not potty trained. They're the puppy that's not potty trained. They're not potty trained yet. And sometimes I think what gets blamed on Christy Sides as a coach, I don't think she's the greatest coach in the world. But you know what Christy Sides is, though? I don't think she's ever coached a player like Caitlin Clark. And I don't think Christy Sides, I could be wrong. I could be just as me shooting from the hip. All my videos, I'm shooting from the hip. Let's just deep in the heart. You know, I don't think she's coached a team that got this much attention, this much scrutiny, this much expectations. I don't think so. I think people say she's a terrible coach. That's a lot for a coach when you're the transition and know, how do I help this girl? I'm sure she had to call Lisa Bluter, her college coach, and said, and they told her, like, listen, Caitlin's going to be crazy. She's going to be angry. She's going to be excited. She's going to be rough. She's going to be this, but that's her. Let her do her thing. Don't try to change or work with her. I'm almost positive because the now new head coach of Iowa, I forgot her name because Lisa Bluter retired. She said at one time on the ESPN video the very thing I'm saying. And I know that Chrissy Sides talked to them. And I think that's already been documented. So I think, and she followed suit. Let Caitlin be Caitlin. Let the turnovers be there. But this is what it is. Like Indiana Fever, they're puppies. This Caitlin Clark is so energetic. She comes down, 3, comes down, passes the ball, assist, boom, comes down, boom. They say, they're up 12. And they say, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But they don't know how to settle down. See, eventually a puppy does not realize if you keep running around like that, you're going to get tired. A puppy doesn't, it's just running full speed. It's so excitable. It's glad that you're home and wants to play. It doesn't realize you're going to get tired. So then it runs around a little bit. Next thing you know, it's like, and you try to tell it, come in. It's like, man, hold on, man. That's the Indiana Fever. They're excitable. They're fun. They're excited. But they don't know how to settle down yet. And I don't think that's just a Christy Sides issue. That's like telling a owner of a new puppy, hey, you're not a good owner because that dog is still peeing. And it's like, well, there's a problem. I'm training the dog. It takes time. Like, what are you talking about? I'm a terrible owner because what? Because the dog ate my pillows and ripped up the curtain. No, it's a puppy, right? It's going to be a puppy until it's not. And I think expectations for Caitlin Clark going into the playoffs, I don't even know if they're going to beat Connecticut. I think Connecticut I would love to see it. Don't get me wrong. It would be crazy to watch her. It would be crazy to watch her win the whole thing just because it would just shake the world up. And the world, relatively speaking, you know what I mean. Obviously, it's not like Putin and like, oh my gosh, what this girl is doing in the good bus. No. I just mean like for the world that revolves around her, and it would just be crazy to watch her win. But I don't think they're going to even beat Connecticut's Sun. 2 reasons. One, because they're puppies. They're just puppies. And Connecticut's Sun, they got more. Yeah, they won a game. They beat them on but they're puppies. I just don't think they know how to settle down. They don't know how to and I don't think that's a Christy Sides issue. I mean, let's be clear. What is Christy Sides supposed to do when when they get up by her offense or her play calling and her perspective, when they're up 20-2, what is she supposed to do? Take them out and put the second string in, the people who can't score? I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. But I just think Indiana Fever are puppies, and so I don't expect them. They got to learn how to be potty trained. They got to learn how to settle down. They got to learn how to pace themselves. You can't just run around all that. When you're an older dog, you understand. I ain't running up and down them steps, fam. I'm gonna be tired as I don't know what. When that dog was young, he was running up and down the steps as fast as possible, just running up and down. They got to pace themselves, and I think that's why they're not gonna go far. But man, have they been exciting? They're puppies. You love puppies. They're cute. They're just, you can't help it. You love a puppy. You ever notice how if you see like a baby of any animal, they always look cute. Oh my gosh, look at this baby a crocodile. That thing, give it about a couple more months. That thing will take your life, whatever. Oh, look at the baby cubs, the lion cub. That thing, they're puppies, and we love them because they're just cute and excitable and fun and energetic, and we love that. But the reality is, in the playoffs, I just don't think that's going to translate. I don't think they're going to beat Connecticut. Well, the second reason is I just think it's connected to the first, maturity. They just don't lack the maturity. And not only do they not lack the maturity, I think they got to their goal. I don't know if you've played sports, right? They got to their goal. When you get to your goal, it's hard to think past that. You listen to some of these teams that like win the championship of their sport, and they're like, listen, nobody believed in it but us. We told ourselves in the locker room every game, woo, 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 woo. Nobody believed in it but us. No, everyone said we couldn't do it, but we believed in it. These guys in this locker room, we stuck together. That's what they think. All season, Indiana Fever has said, we just want to make the playoffs. Now, I played sports. I played at a high level. At one point, I played semi-pro basketball. I was in a semi-pro basketball league. That's the highest I ever got in any professional kind of capacity. Semi-pro. It's just different. It's different than pickup basketball, street ball. You just come down the court, showing all hands up. No, it's different. The players are all good. They all want to go somewhere from this. It's different. And when I watch Indiana Fever play, they're good ballers. They're there. But like they just wanted to make the playoffs. And it's hard. It's hard to go beyond your goal, especially when you know you're not supposed to or can win it. I do not believe for a second that the Indiana Fever really legitimately believe that they can win the WNBA championship this year. I think they think they're on their way, which any of us watching, I think we all think that. I mean, can you imagine all its talk about Caitlin Clark, about, all the hate Kate gate. Oh, she's not great. She's not this. She's not that. Fam, you've been talking about, who else have you talked about all season, Cheryl Swoops? Who else have you talked about? This girl is living in your head rent-free. She is tap dancing on many people's cerebellums. If she's not great, she's greatly on your mind because that's all you're talking about. So, and she's a rookie. Like, what are we talking about, right? She's a rookie. She's broken so many records. She's the worst DJ ever. She just breaks records. She's a terrible DJ, but a heck of a ball player. Can you wait till she's figuring it out with all the double teams and all this stuff. She's figuring it out. Wait till they add like one more solid piece. They got 3. Let them get one more solid piece. But even she's going to come back next season. For those of you old enough to remember Rocky, the one of the part of the theme song of Rocky. Remember when he was running up the steps? Hey yo Mick, hey Adrian. Remember that? And it was like getting stronger. Remember that you was watching him train. All of a sudden he was hitting the speed bag good and he was dancing. And Mick was like, "There you go, Rocky. You can beat it, Rocky." And he said, "Getting stronger." And your goosebumps are pumping. You feeling good. You feel like, man, you in the training room with him. Man, this was going to happen in year 2. Getting stronger. She's got it. She's going to be. You can say she's not great this year as a rookie. Unless the Lord says I'm not going to allow her to be. There's no. And none of these women stopping her. None of them. It's going to have to be the sovereignty of God to say no. Because none of these women are stopping Caitlin Clark in year 2. Because they're not even really stopping her in year 1 for real. Some of it is just she's a puppy. The Indiana Fever puppies, and they don't know how to slow down, and they don't know how to think, and all of a sudden they're just tired, and they're just running around, and we love watching it because they're exciting and excitable. They're puppies, but they're not going to win. You know why? The main reason they're puppies, but because they just didn't want to win. They wanted to get to the WNBA playoffs. For them, they haven't been here since 2015. I think 2016, 2015. They just haven't been. So their goal was, we just want to make the playoffs. That was what they heard in the locker room. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to make the playoffs. And now they're there. And honestly, when you play sports and you play a long season and you meet your goal, you're tired. You're tired. I do not think any of these women think they can win the WNBA championship this year. I do not think so. I do not. I don't think Christy Sides doesn't think that. That's not the conversation they've had in the locker room all season. What they had all season, they've achieved. And that's why I don't even think they're going to beat Connecticut. I think they're going to lose this first game by double digits. They may be able to give them a run, but I wouldn't be surprised. And this is coming from a top Caitlin Clark fan. I would not be surprised if they just lose 2 in a row in the playoffs. And everyone says, "Hey, they're puppies." They're not going to say they're puppies like I am, but I'm saying it's an analogy, obviously, right? I'm not calling women dogs. You know what I mean? But you know how people are so sensitive today, you can't say nothing. I think we'll be satisfied. They'll be upset. I bet you they won't even be crying when they lose. They'll be disappointed the season's over, but they know we ready. We coming next season. Here they come again. Ooh, catch us if you can. Ooh, I'm telling you, they coming. Catch us if you can. They gonna run it. You know what I'm saying? Chris Brown, sing my on the floor. You gonna run it. They're going to run it next season. But this season, I think it's over. Because they're puppies. They're exciting. It's fun to watch. They don't have the maturity. They don't know how to slow down. They have too many games. They are the worst third quarter team in the league. Only one game, I think, against Las Vegas Aces, the second of the last 2 games. The last game of the season, where Caitlin Clark went off and had like 14 in the third quarter and brought her team back. But like they usually they can be up and they just in the third quarter they just lose it. I couldn't believe it. Washington Mystics were down 20-2. You know why they came back strong? Because that team, everyone knows. Here's the word on the street: they're puppies. They don't have the kind of maturity to know that, oh, once you have a 20-point lead, you ain't losing it. Like some teams, if they get up by 20, it's a wrap. You might as well go ahead and just let because they know it. They know how to play. They know how to smell that dog. They get it. But like Indiana Fever, if you're down 25 against them, if I'm the coach, I'm telling my team, hey, listen, we have watched them blow leads all season. You are not out of this game. They came out there hot. That's what we expected. Now let's go punch them in the mouth. Let's go. Like they can't, and that's what happens all season. Be like, wow, how were they down 2? They were up 17. They're all frustrated. She's all complaining with the refs, and then Christy Sides is over there knowing that she's getting cooked online. They're just puppies, fam, and they meet their goal. So yeah, I'm excited to watch them play. I hope they go far, but I'm a realistic fan. I'm a Washington Commanders. The Redskins, I'm sorry. The Redskins. I'm a fan. I'm a realistic fan. And I'm realistic about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. They're puppies. They're excitable. They're cute. They're all these things. They're not mature enough yet. You're not mature enough. But they're on their way. All right, let's go to the tape. Let's see what we're talking about. Oh, y'all out there today. Y'all are out there today. All right, let's go. I think people overshare on those sites. I'm not sure what site, but I hear you. Hello, hello. Jose, what up, Kurt? They have a chance to win. Well, who doesn't? I mean, come on, Jose. Come on. You shop, Jose. You shop. Who doesn't have a chance to win? If you enter anything, you have a chance to win. Who doesn't? We're talking about in perspective of who they are, how they've played, what they've demonstrated, what they've accomplished. I think they have a chance to win. But I think if they win the champion, now if you mean the championship or the series, I'm not sure. Of course they have a chance to win. They're in it. But I just don't think so. I agree 100%. They aren't ready. 100%, Mike. They're just not there yet. They're not ready. The coach has a responsibility of guiding them, besides is lost herself. Yeah, and you know what, though? I think coaches always get a bad rap. Listen, coaches have to adapt to the players, too. Like, it's not like, they just don't have it. Like, Christy Sides, I don't know her resume, but, like, she hasn't coached anyone with this caliber and it shows, I think she's learning too. Like, I wouldn't fire Christy Sides right now. You know why? I think it would be dumb to fire her. Because under her leadership, whether you like it or not, they won 20 games. They just wanted to make the playoffs. They won 20, they went 50, they went 500. They haven't gone 500 since 2015. 2016 was the last good season, apparently. Like, I think Christy Sides did a good job for not being a good coach, right? I just think they're gelling. You're right, puppies, no player experience, starting five, and clueless with a coach with no experience. Yep, not yet ready. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, Nike, right? Nothing wrong with that. We're just trying to tell the truth and be objective. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's okay. It's okay. Mike, I think Sides so do I, Mike. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't agree with the pushback against her. I think, you know what it is? I think people are offended because Caitlin Clark didn't come in and just be Iowa 2.0. So they blamed it on Christy Sides. And it was like, no, Caitlin Clark, Christy Sides didn't foul her hard and knock her on the floor. Christy Sides didn't, no. Like, there were things that Caitlin Clark did. Diana Taurasi was not lying. She said, look, this you looking superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're coming into a league with women who, I think that's what's happened. But I think to your point right here, Mike, she's still growing as a coach, 100%. The only reason why people fire her, because we don't have the patience to watch we got to remember they're puppies. Can you imagine getting mad at a puppy for not acting like a 5 or 6 year old dog? Right? And then getting mad at the owner because the dog acts like a puppy. Like, Christy Sides is a puppy owner. She's training the puppy, and it takes time. And you learn techniques when you're training a puppy. Right? I just think, nah, man. Bow, people. Yep, 100% Danny. That's it. She doesn't call any timeouts. I'll give her that. But I think, you know why? Because Caitlin doesn't want to. You have to remember, she's learning to let Caitlin play the way she did in Iowa. And she's kind of finding the balance up. Like, okay, I'm the coach, but she's the draw. How do I do that? It's harder than people think, man. Fire her, get rid of her. So what? Who's going to come in? And then Lisa Bluter, she would just let her, it's not about just the coach. I mean, yeah, coaches matter. Don't get me wrong. When Phil Jackson came to Chicago, they took him a couple years, but they won. Then he goes to LA and they win. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's something to coaching, But I think at this sport, at this level, and this, I think she's growing too. Clark, no pressure. She played in the NCAA and losing, you're done. Pressure in front of a packed house of millions being on TV. The others are still puppies. Yeah, I think Caitlin Clark's still a puppy, but she's the best, the most excitable puppy out of them all. But I think it's different. Let's be clear. She didn't win in college. She just knows how to play in that environment. Doesn't mean. But let's be clear. Don't forget though, Nike, like all of them were tough. Like the WNBA only has 144 players. There's 12 teams. All of those girls, I mean, I'm not going to go back and look at this stat, but all of those girls, none of those girls that are in the WNBA were sitting on the bench in college. No way. They were all dogs. They were all some of the best players, if not the best player on their college teams. So they've all played in these environments with big crowds and playoffs and tournament. They've all had that. I think that's not new to them, to many of them. They just don't get they just weren't as good at it and didn't get the attention that Caitlin Clark did. The Fever coach is the most idiot coach in WA. Size of trash. I mean, that's cool. I don't agree with that. I think she needs room to grow. I think, and I don't know you, Black Crow, so this isn't a statement against you per se, but I think people who make that kind of statement, I think you're making it because you expected Caitlin Clark to do something that she wasn't going to do. She wasn't going to do. Chrissy Sides couldn't. What is she supposed to do when they're double teaming her? What is Chrissy Sides supposed to do? Take her out of the game, call timeout, or devise what? They're like they knew where Caitlin Clark was every second. We've heard players say she's the top on the scouting report. Everyone. We know that they're all trying to stop her. Chrissy Size is limited. You can't stop her when they're double teaming at the top of the key and then Caitlin gets upset, throws the ball away, gets the ball stolen, it gets plucked, and she can't control Caitlin Clark's morale. So I think part of it is, I don't think she's as bad as the coach as people think, but that's just me. The Fever going home early, they're too young. I agree, Mike, 100%. Connecticut is going to win. I'm going to be honest, Mike, that's what I think. I think it's going to be cool. I'll watch the game tomorrow. I'm speaking at a church at 5 o'clock, so I have to leave at 4:30, so I won't be able to watch the whole game. But I'm watching that game from 3 to 4:20, and I bet you they're going to – I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see them win, but I don't think so. I think they're going to lose. Fever coach is dumb, and yeah, I don't agree with that. Okay, we get your point. You can stop calling them puppies. Stop watching the video, Magdalena. This isn't how I talk. This is just I'm a puppy myself. I'm excitable. You don't have to watch the video. You can click off. I'm not trying to offend you, but you came here. I didn't come on your TV or your phone. You came to me. All right. So let me be me. Rangel, don't make him call them kittens, please. I ain't calling them kittens. I'm sticking with what I said. Mike Fever going home and watch the viewers come crashing down and no one wants to watch the rest of the playoffs. That I totally agree with. That. Okay, Black Crow, that's fine. It's also the reality of it. Yeah, I agree. Slam Magazine only puts out 6 editions per year. Their September issue covers NBA 24-25 preview. Their cover photo, Caitlin Clark, 100%. She's phenom. She's an economy. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. She is. Young but talented. I just don't have faith in Smith, so I think they lose as well. Yeah. Yeah. I think so too, brother. Their most expensive edition, $90 to $130, sold out already. Jeez. Ridiculous. All right. I'm sorry, Black Crow. You're saying the same thing every comment. So I'm just going, you obviously do not like Christy Sides, and that's okay. But I don't feel like putting it on the screen because it's the same thing. I just disagree with you. They know which player will make them a ton of money, unlike Sports Illustrated. Yeah, 100%. Oh, man. Yeah, Chrissy don't believe in calling timeouts to stop other teams' momentum. Yeah, she could do better at that, but let's just be clear. I give her a C-. I'd give her a C+ because I don't think – so to say that, this is the thing. So are you telling me the people who think she's a terrible coach, right? Are you telling me that they won 20 games despite Christy Sides? Like they just got together and said, all right, she had no influence. She didn't do anything, no talking, no getting to know the players, no learning them. They're just winning these games despite Christy Sides. There hasn't been one player that has said that. So when you say she's not a bad, what are you talking about? Like they won 20 games and they won 13 the year before. Her first season. The year before that, I think they won 6 games. The year before that, they won 5 games. So her first season, They won more games in one season than the previous two. Christy Sides. They won 13 games. No Caitlin Clark, Leah Boston, Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell. They won 13 games. The next season, they win 7 more games than that, 20 games. But no, Christy Sides is a terrible coach. They just did all of it without her. No, come on, man. I just think you guys are expecting too much from her. Don't get me wrong. I don't think she's an amazing coach, but I think she's learning. I think she's learning just like they are. She's learning. I'll put this up. Stop calling them puppies. Black Crow, stop watching the video. No, I don't have to stop calling them puppies. I'm making a point, and you understand the point. So you can stop watching the video, fam. I don't have to submit to what you think. You don't have to watch the video. I'm not making you watch the video. So if you don't like me calling her puppies, guess what? End. Don't watch it. It's not a big deal, fam. Christy Sides let Caitlin Clark play basketball on her teammates ball and especially 100%. I agree with that. But that's because she's learning, right? She didn't know what she was doing. She knew she had this amazing player. She just didn't know. She's learning as well. I just think you don't get, people expect so much from people. This is the problem. This is why, because I played sports and not on that level, obviously, but I understand fans, we just don't have patience, man. Everything has to, you know what? So in the Bible, right? In 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 8, the Bible talks about what love is. Love is, and it lists all these categories. And one of the categories that it lists is love does not insist on its own way. I think many of us, Caitlin Clark fans, have been insisting on our own way. We want to see her drop 40 a game and be inhuman and do the same. And when she's not, it's Christy's side, it's all these people's faults. And it's like, fam, why don't you just be patient? Let the girl develop. They've been an exciting team. Next year, let's see what happens. After 1 year of playing and making the playoffs, they keep Christy Sides. If they come in and have a terrible year next year, get Christy Sides out of there. 100%. But it's like, fam, the problem is not Christy Sides. The problem is you want what you want. You want it to be what you desire. And it's like, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. I don't think so. And I think some of you haven't even played sports to even know how these things work. It's just unrealistic. Caitlin Clark's phenomenal, but I don't know anyone. Name a person. Name a player. Maybe Michael Jordan. Maybe. Name a player who was ridiculous in college and then was ridiculous in the pros. Like there was just not. That's a rare thing. Before they got to the pros, they were just ridiculous and got there and it was like, that's a rare thing. They might have been good. LeBron James didn't coming from high school. Kobe Bryant didn't do that. Not coming straight out. It takes some time. Wembanyama, they said, oh my gosh, this guy's 7 for 3. San Antonio wasn't like ridiculous. They kind of came and went. It takes time to get good. It takes time to coach good. CeCe only played 20 minutes again. Yeah, because she was not playing well. That's why Uncle B. She wasn't doing well. That wasn't because like she was balling. They wanted to play the second string. They played the second string because she just wasn't playing well. And I think it was the right decision. That was a good decision. She could take a timeout when the other team is on the run, and she doesn't. Why? I think because she thinks her players are going to get it together. That's what I honestly think. I think she knows that, listen, they're quick, man. They score quick. That's what I love about being puppies. They're puppies. They're puppies. They're just excitable. They're quick. They run around. Like they can get, they get a rebound, push the ball to the floor. Caitlin throws up the floor, boom, layup. They come back down. Lexi Hall does something, gets a steal. She gets it. Caitlin Clark for 3. Boom. Another up. All of a sudden, they do another play. They get the ball. Leah Boston gets the ball, gets a little block, throws the ball out to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's running, throws it out to Kelsey Mitchell. Boom. They score 8 points in 30 seconds. That's what I think Christy Sides is waiting to see them do that. And then it finally hits her. Oh, my gosh, it's not happening. We're down 4, timeout. I think that's what she does. I think she's kind of a fan as well. I think if they can cut down on turnovers, which Caitlin Clark does a lot of those, and Sides sub in right players to match the Suns' floor, a good chance of winning. I think I agree with everything you said, Nike. Here's my only problem. Who are the right players? I don't think Indiana Fever has a lot of good players. Katie Lou Samuelson is just not balling. Damaris, I guess she's Temi Fagbenle. She was, for some reason, early in the season, she was good, but she's not playing good right now. Let's just be honest. She's not. She's only playing better than Alyssa Smith because we remember that she played better before she got injured. She's not playing that well. She's not the person who they thought she would be initially is not who she is right now. It's not who she is. Caitlin has to reduce the turnovers. Galberto, thank you. You know why she has those turnovers? Because she's a puppy. Because she's a puppy. She gets excited. She throws the ball away. And she can get away with it because she's Caitlin Clark. So you're like, oh, man. And she does it, as you said, all caps, critical situations. No one cares about her turnovers when they're up 18 points. But she'll do it when they need these points. And that's my point. It's like, give her time. Give her room. That's not Chrissy Sai's fault. Whatever they win, it's running CC's Iowa plays. Her plans are the slow and then the paint. Yeah. Magic won Chip his rookie year. Yeah, but Magic had a stacked squad. And I didn't say no one did it. I just said some people don't. Yeah, Magic won his rookie year. But the fact that you can name Magic says a lot. Because now you're going back to say Magic Johnson won his rookie year, you had to go back 44 years. That was 1980, right? So you had to go back 40. That proves my point, actually. You had to go back 44 years to name a player. It just doesn't happen. Why are we acting like Caitlin Clark's supposed to do it? Like, she's ridiculous. Love her. But we got to be honest. We got to be realistic. Clark has to choose correctly which player to pass for best percentage shot. Yeah, I agree with that. Smith being open outside is not a good choice to shoot threes. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that's a really good point, which is what I'm getting at. I think sometimes she just throws the ball because there's frustration. There's a lot of pressure, so she gets rid of the ball, and you throw it to this person, and it becomes that. So I just think that. Bizarre how this has just become a Caitlin Clark fan channel. Why is that bizarre? Is it just a Caitlin Clark? So all my videos are Caitlin Clark? You probably don't watch the other videos when I'm talking about other things that are much more important, things of the Lord and stuff like that. And two, why can't it be? Why can't it be? Like, so let's just think about this from just a YouTube perspective, right? I'm just a guy on YouTube trying to grow my channel like everyone else is. You want people to watch your stuff. Let's say I'm a sports guy too. I love sports. Just because I didn't talk about sports earlier on, because that's just not where I was, and that's not where the people were that were watching my channel. But let's just say I do a video talking about Caitlin Clark because I'm a sports guy, and I mean, this girl's just blowing up. And that video does 15K views. As a YouTuber, I'm supposed to be like, nope, I'm just going to talk about only Christian things exclusively and not, no. I'm trying to grow my channel, and if people, and there are Christians who never heard of me, they followed the Caitlin Clark video, but then liked and said, I'm a subscriber. So yeah, it is a fan channel on one level because this is what people want to hear, right? This isn't Sunday morning where I'm trying to appease the people. Like, I'm trying to grow my channel, and that's helping grow my channel. I don't feel any shame of it. I'll talk about Caitlin Clark. I'll talk about Trump. I'll talk about whoever. And I'm okay with it. My highest views are Caitlin Clark. Why would I stop doing that? And and it's not like I'm just rambling and coming up. I'm giving like real stuff. I'm giving up real analogies. People like these videos because so I don't mind that at all, Eric. I think it's okay to do that. From a YouTube perspective, I don't know if as a believer, am I not supposed to do that? Am I only supposed to talk about what the Bible says? I mean, it's like, no, I've even connected what I think is happening so I don't have a problem with it at all. And the people who have come to the channel and like it more, they don't have a problem with it either. I believe Christy Wallace could be a spot up 3-point shooting where you don't have to reply on Agent Smith. I think you rely on Agent Smith. You know, I wonder. Well, I know that, you know how they say the game is mental, right? The game is mental. That's really true. That's really true. Because all these girls, Christy Wallace, everyone that you think is terrible in the league, they all were like some of the best players in college on their teams at the year they got drafted. They weren't like, oh, we need to fill the bench with like bro players, so let's just no, they picked the best players from these teams. But at some point, Christy Wallace I think that's her name, she just can't make a shot. I think it's mental. She's, because I mean, think about it for a second. I mean, all of us, it's so easy to talk about like other people and what they should be doing and all of that. But imagine whatever you do for a living. Imagine someone comes on your job. You've been faithful to this job. You've worked hard at this position. You've slowly grown up and gotten to a point where you're considered one of the top employees in your job or whatever. You're working hard, right? And all of a sudden, there's got this new employee that comes in that just everyone thinks is like incredible and amazing, and no one's even thinking about the work that you put in. let's not pretend like that wouldn't hurt us and we wouldn't be hurt by that. Let's just be real for a second. Like let's leave the YouTube world for a second and the confidence of our own opinions, and let's just be human beings for a second. That would bother you. It would bother me. I'll never forget this. One time, and my son didn't even mean to say this. This was like maybe 10 years. Let me see. How old is he? This would have been like maybe 9 years ago, right? One day, this guy from my church, one of my guys on my leadership team, he was playing with my boys, like a lot for whatever. I forgot what was happening. And he was playing with my boys a lot. And then I was in a meeting or something, but he was running around doing stuff with them. And so my oldest son, after we got in the car, and he said, I said, hey, how was it? Big boys, how was your time? He said, oh, it was funny. And then he said this, I want him to be our dad. I was like, huh? What'd you say? And my son didn't mean really like, I want him to replace you. He just had so much fun with this guy that he was like, he was thinking as a play thing. But it hurt my feelings. I remember my feelings got hurt. And my son, he was intuitive enough to be like, he asked me, I forgot what he asked me, but he knew. And I was on it. I said, son, that kind of hurt my feelings, son. Like, that was one, like, I haven't taken you to do all these things. And then who takes you to Chuck E. Cheese? It hurt my feelings for my son to say that. It would hurt your feelings if whatever you do that you're good at, someone else comes in that hasn't done all you've done for that company yet, but everyone's talking about like, man, we wouldn't even exist without them. They're like the greatest, and you would be offended. So I think sometimes we got to be realistic and give people the reality, right? The reality is we would be hurt too. Some of these women are just hurt because they were not getting the praise that Caitlin Clark is. Do all of them deserve it? No, I don't think so. But let's not pretend like we wouldn't get hurt. I mean, let's even just strip it down to the bone gristle. Many of you watching this are married or in some kind of romantic relationship. If you say I love you to your spouse and they don't say like I love you too or whatever, what happens to you? What happens? You get offended, right? You get hurt. Your feelings get hurt. Why? Because you said I love you, not just because you love them, but you want to receive love from them. You want it to be reciprocated. So you get offended. I've walked couples through conflicts that began with one spouse saying I love you and saying, oh, ditto or something like that. Like, ditto what? So you don't love me? Like, you haven't said you, all of a sudden it becomes a big deal. Like, you would get offended. Like, so I think when we talk about these people, because they're like not real people to us on one level, because we only watch them through a screen and see them on, they're women that get feelings hurt. I think Caitlin Clark just stepped on a lot of toes. Whether she meant to or not, she hurt people's feelings. And we can't act like that's not real because it's not real to us. So I just think that stuff is crazy. You have a great commentator's voice. That's why I watch the videos. Clark is a draw, but you have a great... Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but the fact is coaching is very important. I'm Mike G, I totally agree. And I'm not sure what you mean by that statement, because everyone is entitled to their opinion, but this is my channel, so I'm going to give my opinion, right? I let the comments go up. I don't have to pull these comments up. I let them come up because it's my desire, because it's my channel. So I'm giving my opinion for sure. And I do think coaching is important. But my point is, for me, this is my point. To dog Christie's sides as a coach, and they got 20 wins this season, she got 13 the last season, you're saying she's trash, or whoever said that, whoever said she's trash, like, what's the evidence, though? What is she supposed to do? Have won 30 games this year? She makes some bonehead plays, but they've won 20 games. To her to be trash, you would have to be able to prove that they won 20 games without her coaching at all. That she could have just been sitting on the sideline not saying nothing. That they won 20 games without her leading practices. Without, you just judge what she does on the sideline. What about getting the team ready and all of that stuff? What about all of that? Like, coaching is not just calling timeouts on the sideline and yelling at the refs to call fouls for your team. Coaching has the game. It's like preaching, right? I'm a pastor, right? When you preach on Sunday, people think like that there's so much more behind it than like what I'm communicating for 45 minutes to an hour on Sunday. No, like that's not it. There's so much that went behind that. There's so many things. Coaching is way more than just, are you sitting down or standing up in the games? Are you excitable like Becky Hammond, or are you kneeling down like Christy Sides? Do you sit down like Cheryl Reeves? That's only part of it. Calling the right plays and all that stuff, that's part of it. Some of it is you got to manage team morale, all these other things. You have to manage it. And you have to have conversations. You have to build relationships with these people when you're off court. So I think to win 20 games, I don't know. I think she had a decent season. They didn't win those 20 games apart from her coaching, and that's the most that they've won since in 9 years. So that's what I would think. But what do I know? All right, I'm getting out of here, man. It's 10:30. I appreciate y'all so much. Thanks for subscribing. And listen, it's YouTube. Like, if you challenge me, I'm going to push back because it's fun. I love the banter. But don't take yourself so seriously. It's who cares? It's you. If you don't like my videos, don't watch them. That's fine. I won't lose any sleep, fam. It's not even that serious, man. I'm just having fun. I like doing this. I'm going to talk about Caitlin. I'm going to talk about Jesus. I'm going to talk about whoever. It's my channel. You don't have to follow me. There are millions of YouTube people out there. Check them out if you don't like what I'm doing. But I'm going to do me because that's who I am, and this is what I offer. If you like it, thank you. I appreciate you. And if you don't, thanks for checking it out. Peace. See you when I see you. All right? Hopefully we'll talk about, see what happens tomorrow if they win. We'll see. I'm predicting they lose, but we'll see.